Hi everyone. I have two fluent here with me today. The man who's cosplayed as the sorcerer and the battle mage. How you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on it. So I have a going list right now of like people I was kind of intimidated to ask to be on the YouTube channel, and you were on that list. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make my way down the list and see how many say yes and whoever says no. Well, I tried at least,
No,
right?
I appreciate being on here. Flattered that you would think I'd be intimidating, but anytime that I can talk sorcery, it's a good time for me. So,
Nice. Typically, a question I start off the interview with is how did you learn about Sorcery, the game, and just kind of like, were you a Kickstarter guy? Were you whatever, however you found out about
yeah,
it?
so I actually found it through Kickstarter, and but it was actually suggested to me by my mom. My
Oh, wow.
mom, she's actually into TCGs too,
That's cool.
and she was actually a collector of MetaZoo, and
Okay.
she did some back in there. And while the Kickstarter was active, she showed me the sorcery game, and I did some due diligence and a little bit of research, but very quickly decided that I wanted to back the game.
Nice. Awesome. So you have the original avatars. You got some alpha product. That's awesome. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
I was a beta guy, so I've been slowly hunting my way through all of the alpha cards. But yeah, it's a game like no other in my opinion. It's really fun. Uh, you know, you have a YouTube channel. I'll be honest, I haven't watched a ton of it. I'm working my way through the catalog right now, but
Mhm.
kind of explain to the viewers kind of what your YouTube channel is about and uh,
Mhm.
kind of what your goal is with it.
Yeah, my YouTube channel kind of started out as a little bit of a hobby, a little bit of an outlet, somewhere where I can just just open packs and just show other people my reactions.
Hmm.
I was posting prior to Sorcery some other indie TCG games I was into as well, but I'm also a bit of a writer, so I like writing, short stories and whatnot. And um, with Sorcery and with other games too, I was writing some lore just for fun, and decided to kind of post it on YouTube. But I also post giveaways. I do the occasional giveaways. I do some deck techs, some pack openings, and starting to do my own interviews as well. I got
Nice,
Trude on, and also CJ from the Courtesan Cup winner.
nice, very cool. So you're kind of going more towards what I'm doing with like interviews and stuff like that. That's cool. Yeah, I would listen to your Truett one and it was really cool. Like I haven't gotten any artists on, but I'm also on the list of
No, you
intimidation.
should definitely reach out to them. They're very approachable. I
Okay.
think the whole community is very supportive of each other, and I think you'd be surprised how many yeses you get as opposed to no's.
I've been surprised by the amount of yeses I've gotten so far. I thought, I'll ask like two guys and they both said yes and I was like, okay, I got to get a no at some point and I'm lucky to have said to say that I've not yet got a no for this. So that's hopefully that streak continues. I don't
Yeah, it's
eventually
been
it'll end, but
it's been my experience too. At most or at worst, it'd be like I'm busy maybe the week or two or
Mhm.
something. You schedule something out a little
Right.
further,
Hmm.
but I've yet to get a no either. Everyone's pretty cool about just talking sorcery as well.
Nice. So another thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about is I know you've gone to a lot of these major events, and I've heard you're kind of the pizza guy of the group.
Okay.
Where I think at the Courtesan Cup you got everyone pizza, which was really cool.
Yeah. I got some pizza at the Florida event and the
Hmm.
Courtesan Cup.
Yeah.
It's not really it wasn't a huge treat,
Hmm.
but it's fun. I mean, I like helping out when I
Hmm.
can, and been blessed
Hmm.
in life, and when I can give to others, it brings me joy and fulfillment.
Right.
So if I could share, especially something like food, because food is the essence of life, and I
Uh-huh.
love sharing food and having get-togethers around food. So if I can at least share a little bit of that, it brings me a little enjoyment as well. And some
Very
food.
cool. Very cool. Yeah. I saw during the Florida event you cosplayed as the sorcerer, which is my favorite avatar by
Yeah,
far. Obviously by the name and everything of the channel, but and I saw you had the battle mage one. So kind of what inspired you to start doing like the whole cosplay thing? I haven't seen a lot of people do cosplay, but I've seen a
right.
couple people now do it.
Well, I was interested in cosplay, prior to sorcery.
Okay.
My wife, she's a seamstress, and she likes actually making costumes and dresses and all that. And my family, like our favorite holiday is Halloween, so we've
Nice.
always been kind of crafty. And my wife loves making, outfits and whatnot. So we already had kind of the knack of dressing up, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then, when I got into sorcery, I'm like, all right, well, I love the game, love the art. The next level up is just start dressing up. So,
That's very cool. Which out of the two, which one's your favorite so far that you cosplayed as?
um, I would say, I mean, they're both pretty cool. I like that when I started working on the Battle Mage, I teamed up with a 3D designer and
Mm-hmm.
a 3D print company. So the pieces are a little more accurate to the character as opposed to the sorcery, where it was more of, things that I could find that were looking like the sorcerer, but not really created for that character. So it's pretty close to sorcerer one, but I think the battle mage one, although it's not complete, we're still building the chest plate and the skirt armor and some other pieces. But it's to me a little more accurate, so I think I enjoy that one a little more.
Nice. Yeah. I saw you posting those like the STL files,
Hmm.
or I don't know if you were like just showing like images. I think you were of
Yeah, they were
them.
just the still
Yeah.
images.
But I was like, man, I should maybe message him because I have like 3 or 4 3D printers at the house.
Oh yeah,
So I was like, maybe I could get like a set of battle mage armor. That'd be kind of cool.
for sure. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm going down to Vegas, and I've been tempted to maybe go the cosplay route a little bit, but I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know what I would do yet, but I'm thinking about it.
yeah. It's actually it's not really intimidating to dress up. I mean, I don't feel that way, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really fun. Like it really gets you into like the mood, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, of just being around folks that like the game, and it just immerses you into the fight, so to speak. You can be the sorcerer and really start wielding some magic.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So I've seen you on the Discord talking about this, being a huge fan of wolves in the with the card and everything. So I wanted to get your opinion on a wolf deck, and you showed me your wolf 6.0. Which
Mhm.
do you go by 1 points, or you got like a
Oh, I got
1.5, a 2, a 2.5, a 3?
I have I probably have like 30 different wolves decks, to be honest. And what I do is I have like a certain element or a
Mm-hmm.
certain style of a wolf deck. And like for instance, this Wolf 6.0 is a wolf deck in which I am only having earth with one other element, like a splash of
Mm-hmm.
something. In this case, it's a splash of fire. And the reason, uh, basically, this is the sixth version of a fire wolves deck, so to speak, that I've created.
Okay, gotcha.
And it had a lot more burn spells, a lot more to it, and I've kind of refined it to just a splash, just enough of what I need for utility tech. But I could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
It When I'm creating a wolf deck with just the cards that we have right now, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
obviously we have a limited pool. Um, what I'm thinking is the tactic of playing is pretty straightforward. Is you swarm, they get big, and you aggressively attack and try to take out the opponent, early game.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm looking for in a wolf deck is to cover the weaknesses because there's a couple of crippling points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of the biggest silver bullets for the Grey Wolves deck is Grim Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
So what this deck has here for Grim Reaper tech, it does have a couple of copies of Shield Maidens, because if Grim Reaper, is able to attack and deal damage, then it's kind of game over for the wolves. But
Mm-hmm.
that's a way to kind of mitigate and protect the boys, so to speak.
Gotcha.
But what I've added to this is a couple of copies of Wicked Witch as well, which kind of function in a similar manner. The reason why I've started working with Wicked Witch and incorporate into the Wolves deck is um, it also negates kind of other lethal cards. So if the opponent has Porcupine Pufferfish, Pit Vipers, or other things that would be, a death sentence, so to speak, to a wolf, this helps mitigate that. Because I feel that once you get to like 5 or 6 wolves, each wolves is stronger than the big stompy,
Mm-hmm.
minions. So once you have a 6 power wolf, you're not really caring about Amazon warriors or something like that, but you still care about other lethal cards. So Wicked Witch and Shield Maidens. Now another thing that is pretty bad matchup for wolves is root spiders. So you see that with some of the sites we run aqueducts, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and we run floodplains. But in addition to that, this is where I put in a play set of pit vipers to kind of get underneath. And sure, they'll trade with a root spider, but I rather sacrifice a pit viper than to have a bunch of wolves stagnant there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other techs. So you got to let the wolves kind of build up. Looking for a magic number of about 5 wolves or greater. And what helps them survive a little bit too is Tragedy War Reward, because they're a little weak against early on against some lightning bolts or whatnot, while they're still kind of weak and few. And that's what that card is there for. And then lastly here, just because it's such a fun card to run, and it's so useful in many applications as we run Punch Butchers as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was wondering if you wanted to kind of double down on the Grey Wolves and add House Arm Bannermen. Have you done that
Mhm.
before?
So I've thought about the Batterman, but I think the Batterman is like a slightly weaker version of a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, if you have one gray wolf
Right.
and then you bring in another gray wolf, each gray wolf is their own Batterman, except
Mm-hmm.
Batterman costs more mana to play and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't buff himself.
Gotcha.
So for that, I would rather just have another gray wolf.
Okay.
And we also run just a very simple common sense toolkit with the Spell Bury and Heat Ray. Um, I went many months running wolves without like a finisher, direct damage spell,
Mm-hmm.
and I've lost many matches because of that. So
Mm-hmm.
we splash a Heat Ray just to get that final post death door shot in.
Yeah, I've been messing around with a Geomancer, very heavy Earth Geomancer, and what I started realizing is I would start breaking my Crater Eyes too early instead of using it as
Mm.
my kill spell. And since that's the only quote unquote kill spell we have on Earth right now,
Mhm.
it's if you use that bullet, then you can't get it back later, right? So
Mhm.
I've started potentially doing some air or some fire in there, but just
Mhm.
like a very small sprinkle of like maybe 4 or 5 cards, and they're all just
Right.
kill spells, so that or things that would potentially lead to that one hit that I need.
Mhm.
And I've been seeing a lot more success with that because it is the one thing Earth is like kind of lacking right now is that.
Oh, it's lacking big time. I mean,
Yeah,
Crater Eyes
really.
is there, but first of all, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
With wolves, we seldom go past 4 sites because once you have 4 sites, um, my curve. I mean, I have Punch Butcher, but that's a 4 cost.
Mm-hmm.
And with Sorcerer, you're trying to once you get 4 sites, grab at least 2 wolves per turn.
Mm-hmm.
And with 4 mana, that's all you need to play 2 wolves per turn.
Hmm.
So I seldom go past 4 unless there's like an intricate board state where I can't get past, uh, bottomless pits or something odd like that that I still have to build out, so to speak.
Gotcha. Some of the questions I had for the deck were mostly the sites. I've been noticing a very high uptick in people playing some water sites to mitigate berries, which is good.
Hmm.
But the thing that I've found interesting is like a lot of people are also playing Atlantean Fate, which makes me want to go more back to those basic sites
Right.
because then I can kind of deal with
Mhm.
okay, they're not all elites, uniques, or exceptionals. So then at least I have some kind of threshold, even if everything else is now water. And I saw that you, I think, have no generic
Nope.
sites in this. Yeah, so I was just
Yep.
wondering, has that ever been a problem you've come across where you have the your site
Mhm.
curve turned off?
There's been some matches. I'd say, you know, second to Grim Reaper, Atlantean Fate is my most hated card. I have lost many a wolves to Atlantean Fate.
Yeah.
But just like Grim Reaper, it's a one off.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to necessarily have a deck strategy where, I'm solely worried on two unique cards out there because not everyone's running Atlantean Fate, not
Mm-hmm.
everyone's running Grim Reaper. I do have anti Grim Reaper tech, but with
Mm-hmm.
Atlantean Fate, my wolves only need one Earth threshold.
Right.
So even if you shut off like multiple sides, it's easy to recover from that and be able
Mm-hmm.
to play my wolves, and you still maintain the mana. So
Mm-hmm.
as long as I have one Earth threshold, I will lose wolves, but I should be able to kind of keep drawing and build up the board state, so to speak, again.
Gotcha. Another question I had was why not play like a crusade or a summoning sphere?
Yeah, there's different iterations of wolves decks that run a crusade. I do have crusades in other wolves deck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like in this one here, when you're looking at 40 cards, because I mean, for me, I'm trying to avoid going any more than 40.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely on a competitive mindset, you want to be as lean as possible and have the correct ratios and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm going through this deck list and trying to see if there was space for a crusade, I couldn't justify cutting another Shield Maidens or something else that I kind of wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually have 22 wolves in a Grey Wolf deck. Here, I believe I have 20. What's up,
One.
21?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't want to lose that other wolf because I'm trying to keep that ratio where at least every other card definitely is going to be a wolf. So yeah, it was just hard to slot it in, and sometimes that's the pain of deck building, right?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you want all the cards, but then you can only have 40. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So, kind of walk us through the sites. I understand the aqueducts and
Mhm.
the floodplains. You kind of touched on that, but the one that I kind of saw, and I like the art, but the giving my opponent the ability to have it cost one less feels
Mhm.
bad in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I love Donnybrook with Imperial Road.
Mm.
Um, and when it comes to wolves, um, when I'm creating a wolf deck, obviously I'm trying to cover my weak points: Grim Reaper,
Mm-hmm.
Root Spiders, mostly those two. Sometimes Earthquakes can mess around wolf decks,
Mm-hmm.
um, but that's my weaknesses that I cover. But when I'm thinking about the strengths of the wolf deck, is being able to swarm and being able to overpower and really kill off opponents quickly. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
able to death door turn 4 and finish turn 5. But it's being able to have a Donnybrook and then on the very next turn you're dropping 2 wolves per turn. And the reason why Donnybrook's there is there's been many times where I've had it in my opening hand, and you have your 3 sites, and then I've not needed to go ahead and draw another site, Donnybrook and an Earth site and another utility site, and I'm able to drop 2 wolves a turn and just keep drawing from my spell book.
Gotcha. The Yeah, so the Imperial Roads, just to kind of get to that 4 quicker,
That's correct.
and then Pillar Zeros is just probably 4
Yeah,
healing and Death Dealer, but it's also just a really nice looking card.
I my opinion on Pillar of Zeros is every single deck should run Pillar. I don't care if you have an air deck. I don't care if you have a water deck. It is so strong. Being able to really hurt Death Speaker decks
Mhm.
is key. And being able to heal, possibly for a fair amount, is so good not to have a pillars.
Yeah.
Basically.
The Rift Valleys are a favorite of mine for sure, being able to either get it in a position for your opponent, or
Hmm.
I've even used it to Rift Valley over my Sorcerer, so then I
Hmm.
could still draw 2 cards and not deal with their Punch Butcher or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I love Rift Valley in general. I love it more with Pudge. Sometimes you put down a Pudge and then your opponent kind of moves out the way, but then you can Rift Valley and slide something over, slide your Pudge over in line sight of
Hmm.
that avatar again and be able to grapple them in. So yeah, it's a very useful card for sure.
Hmm. The River of Flame, I kind of have like a love hate relationship with this card myself.
Mhm.
It's one of those cards where I'm like, man, this is really good, but then I think I get caught up too much in the I want to play it underneath my avatar, or I want to play it like in a very like good position, so then I wait to play it instead of like
Mhm.
just playing it. So then I like draw another site instead of playing that site or other things
Mhm.
like that. How does it feel for you?
River Flame is mainly there for the air threshold that I need for a couple of cards. It's also another way to kind of trigger Heat Ray if my avatar is not in sight.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Just going through all of the fire sites to see where my comfort level was. I think I wanted at least 6 to 7 fire thresholding sites, and I think River was a little better than just a generic desert.
Fair. The Smokestacks of Knock is a pretty infamous card for some decks.
Hmm.
How does it shake up in your deck? Obviously, it can turn off some sites, but
Yeah, it can. I mean, it could definitely work against your own sites,
mm-hmm.
but I think it's so good against other decks that it's almost like a pillars.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like whatever deck you're running, you really should consider a pillars and a smokestacks. It just there's so much utility in those 2 sites right now with the current meta. It produces that fire threshold that I need for Heat Ray and Pit Vipers. But it's just a way to kind of like, I've been losing a lot lately to Avatar Air
Mm-hmm.
and
Bottomless pit.
bottomless pits. I
Yeah.
freaking hate bottomless pits. So like this is my anti bottomless pit card, So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah, well, and with Roots of Yggdrasil on the rise, this is also just a good target for
that's
Roots of
that's true
Yggdrasil.
as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming I'm gonna skip one. The Color Out of Space is another one that I'm assuming
Mhm.
is you should maybe always run it, in your opinion.
Color Out of Space. Okay, my the first reason I run Color Out of Space is because I got a Dust promo, and it looks
Oh, okay,
pretty, and I have
gotcha.
it sleeved up, and I will play it anytime I can play it. I will play that card. It's just so
Nice.
beautiful. So that's kind of like my real reason to run it. But yeah, I mean, obviously it gives you the earth and it gives you water and
Fire.
it's anti-berry.
Right.
This is a water site, so and I think from all of the quad sites, it's probably the easiest to use without
Mm-hmm.
the like Pristine Paradise. Like I'm going to move around and I'm going to end up
Right.
sitting on it at some point. So I feel like Colorado Space would be easier to guard the mana threshold ability of it.
Mm-hmm. And then going back up, you have the steps, which are the earth, fire. Do
Right.
you, as a collector that you are, do you have the curio?
I listen. I'm about to cry. Okay, that's a sensitive topic. I don't have the curio. Um, so I'm sure if you know that I'm a big Wolves fan, you probably know that I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
Truett Parish fan.
Yes.
Um, and so yeah, love everything Truett Parish. I love the curio idea. I don't have the curio. DM me if you do.
I
I'll
do
grab
have one.
it off of you. So,
I do have it, and
oh
we might
yeah.
have to talk afterwards. Yeah.
Oh man, that's such a sweet
Yeah.
card.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Do you have the playmat?
I have the playmat.
Okay.
Ooh, look
Oh.
at that. Now you flexing.
I'm just showing you I have the
You're a
goods. If you want
stud.
to talk afterwards, that's all
Yeah,
it
we're gonna
is.
have to talk. That's funny. No, that's a great card. That's a good hit. Did you pull
Yeah.
it yourself or did you acquire it?
So my buddy pulled it. It was like his seventh pack ever. I had just gotten him into the game, and I basically just gave it to him as like a freebie. I was like, "Here you go. Here's this pack. Like, have fun."
Jeez.
And he pulled the step as well as a foil amethyst out of the same pack.
That's a god pack. Jeez.
and
Wow.
I freaked out when I saw the amethyst, and then I saw it, and then we were looking through it afterwards, like all of his cards, and then I
Mhm.
saw that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he was like, "What? It's just a step." I was like, "That's not what a step usually
Yeah.
looks like." And I had
Yeah.
explained the curios and all that stuff, but
Okay.
yeah, he basically came to me afterwards, and he was like, "Look, like I don't have any way of selling this. It's
Hmm.
basically just another card for me.
Hmm.
So if you want to, like, I'll give you a sweetheart deal. Like, you find a
Hmm.
guy that wants it, and you give me a percentage of the money that you get off of it, and we're
Hmm.
solid." I was like, "Deal."
Hmm.
So that's how I acquired it.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
cool. It's
yeah.
definitely a good one. I think it's also, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna speak for everyone, but I think it's a little bit of a fan favorite. Um,
Yeah,
just from
I
looking at
would
a
agree
lot
with
of
that.
reactions and looking at some of the price points, it's definitely on the higher end of a beta curio in terms of value. So
Yeah, I think I would say if it's not number one, it's top three for sure.
hmm
I think the only one that I've heard that is kind of like on that same level, and I think it's in beta too, is the Atlantean Fate Curio. Am I right in
mm,
that
interesting.
it's in beta? I
Yeah.
think it's in beta. Yeah, so I think a
Yeah.
lot of people like that one too, but I think those two are the ones that I've heard a lot of, like
Yeah.
those are the god tier
Yeah.
curios of the set.
I I do have a few curios myself. I do have Belfry from Alpha,
Nice.
and I got a Strike beta
Nice.
curio, and then I actually got a Eric's Curiosa beta curio.
Nice.
Do that.
I still need to get in whatever version I need a Eric's Curiosa still.
Oh
I still
yeah.
don't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, getting back to the list real quick, we
Yeah.
have Vesuvius.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is potentially just another kill spell if he happens to
It,
get close to it.
yeah, it's another hidden kill spell as long as you're not also on death's door, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, having just one quote unquote finisher card, you're leaving a little bit up to chance. Sometimes they can get discarded. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
are. I've been seeing a lot of um, Raiders and Captain Balthasar's.
Mm-hmm.
There is ways to lose cards,
Mm-hmm.
so just another way to be able to finish off an opponent.
Gotcha. Uh, I think it's a cool deck. My wife actually made a Wolf's deck as like her second deck she ever built, and
Yeah.
I still don't agree with some of the decisions she made, but she's kicked my butt with
Mm.
it a couple times. So
Okay.
I guess I can't say that I know everything, right? So,
Yeah.
but she did the whole. She went air air earth because she wanted to
Hmm.
do the werewolves as well as the wolves. She was like, "I'm
Okay.
doing all wolves, so the
Yeah.
werewolves are in that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. What I will say about wolves is, um, I liked it because, as a Magic, Magic the Gathering player, I played Magic for
Hmm.
for many years. I was definitely like a mono green, Stompy or a mono green Elves player.
Yeah.
And so as an Elves player, you want to swarm, go big, and with Elves, they usually have abilities where they, kind of help each other, so to speak. So when I
Yeah.
seen the Grey Wolves deck, it just reminded me of Elves,
Gotcha.
and because of that, I just already had like an affinity to it. And then when I picked it up and put it together, it's it's interesting. It's such a simple deck in
Hmm.
in its concept, um, but there is different ways with the current card pool that you can tweak it. So there is some versatility to it,
Hmm.
but it's also one of the easiest decks to just learn. I
Hmm.
know during the Florida qualifier for the Corzine Cup, there was a gentleman who was a collector who came down, learned the game kind of in its um, basic terms,
Hmm.
but didn't get a lot of play time. So he kind of showed up the day prior, and we met, just playing some casual games. And I loaned him because he only had a pre-con deck and he was
Gotcha.
playing for the qualifier. So I loaned him my Wolf deck, and he actually ended up doing pretty well
Very
in
cool.
the overall tournament. And he was able to just grasp the concept of playing sorcery just quickly because it is a pretty straightforward deck.
Hmm. Yeah, I also was a mono green player when I played Magic, and I did. I had to retire my elf deck because
Mm.
people would not play me with it at the. I was like,
Yes, yes. Yes.
yeah, I had the guy
Take
that
that blue
for.
players.
Yeah, I had
That
that
was me.
guy. I had that guy. I was the guy that had the. What was it? I had two elves that I really liked. It was the one that just gave you mana for every elf you had,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was the one that for every elf if you tap this you heal X amount for every
yeah.
elf or
Those
whatever
are
else.
good.
I was like, all
Yeah,
right, you just can't touch me now.
yeah,
Like you have to find a way to kill those two
yeah.
guys.
Oh, there's so many good elves in Magic history. I
Yeah.
like the Heedless one, which
Mm-hmm.
is a good staple to have. She gets really big and strong, and there's
Yeah.
a bunch of them out there. So
There was one that like if for every elf when you played it, or I think it might have been a spell. You for every elf you have on the field, you create a 1/1 elf token.
mm,
And so I would do that, and then I had like 60 something elves on board, and then I would play the Hydra that gets
mhm.
one for every unit out or whatever. Or
So
no, mana. It was mana. So then you use
mana,
the mana. Yeah, you use the mana elf to generate all the mana, and then you play
mana, and
that
then get
thing.
a
Yeah.
big Hydra. I think if any of the devs are watching this, I think we need a way to generate more wolves quickly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping. I'm. That's another reason why I'm concentrated so much on wolves and trying to see what works with it, what doesn't work with it. Is I want to be able to see as soon as I see a new set
Mm.
that I already gonna know, like going down the list. Yep, that's gonna work. Yep, that card's gonna help.
Nice.
Because I'm like I already know what I'm missing. I know I'm missing this, and I don't want to speak too much because if I talk too much, they're not gonna make the cards that I want. But
Ah, I
I
see.
know I
Okay,
kind of
gotcha.
know what the wolves deck is missing, so I'm hoping that when I spot a one and kind of I want to break the game politely speaking, and create maybe some kind of cool combo or something.
Nice. Yeah. The with the last the Courtesan Cup, when Keenan Banshee was revealed and the card was revealed for it, I was like, I gotta make a deck around this. Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I
yeah.
think there's things that I'm thinking about with that Banshee card too.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say too because you don't have like the full list
Right.
on AL, but there's already combos spooling up of what can happen with that Banshee for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking play a Apprentice Wizard on a Geistwood, sack it for the Werewolf, then get the Keenan Banshee out. So you drew two cards, you have two
Hmm.
units out, and it's a good
Yeah,
time.
there's yeah. No, the Banshee is definitely like a very heavy hitter. It's probably one of the better cards I think already that's been revealed. So
Yeah, and then, well, the True Perish card, being able to throw kobolds at your opponent seems like a really fun idea, too.
I think yes. I mean the card was really cool,
Mm-hmm.
and its concept. the thought of flinging stuff across the field
Mm-hmm.
is funny. Um, the way it's illustrated is a little funny as well.
Yeah.
I already made a GIF for it. I don't know if you've seen it on Discord.
You'll have to send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send you the GIF. It's all animated and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean it's cool because when I first seen the that card in particular,
Mm-hmm.
like since I follow him closely and all that, like it
Mm-hmm.
just screamed true it. Like all you had to do is just show it, and I already knew it would have been his.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think being able to have something like that where it's you're adding more mobility to the game,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to definitely change up. I think so. I think it has meta potential. So
Yeah. I the I think I don't think he I think he makes my top five. True, it does. I wish they got more cards because like beta, I think it was like 4 cards or 5 cards that he did.
uh, fine. Let's see.
He Border Militia,
Border
Crusade,
Militia,
Jihad, the
Vanguard
Knights,
Knight,
and
Spin
the
Attack.
Spin Attack.
Yeah,
Did he do Highland Clansman?
he
You know,
did. There you go.
so that's
Six.
6. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So when I saw that he was gonna be doing more for Arthurian Legends, I was like, yes,
yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Border Militia is probably one of my favorite cards. I actually got one of my buddies to. I wasn't able to go to the Courtesan Cup, but I got my buddy to. I sent him some of my cards, and he got them signed for
Cool.
me. So I had my Jihad, like my Crusade, and my complete set of Border Militias signed by
Cool.
him. And I was like, okay, the minute I can finally make like a really good Mortals deck, I'm
Mhm.
throwing the Crusade and all of these Border Militias in, and we're just gonna have fun with it.
You know, it's funny. A couple things with Border Militia. I actually bought the original art piece and I had it for
Really,
yeah, I had it for about a year.
very
But then I
cool.
kind of felt like I was hoarding. There was a point where I had like 4 pieces of his, and um, I felt like I was hoarding too much through it.
True. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I suppose I should share with the community. So
Mm-hmm.
I did go ahead and sell that one forward. But I did get to appreciate it. I got it framed. I
Nice.
seen it at the Coruscant Cup. Someone brought it, where the
Very
person who
cool.
purchased it, and so I got to appreciate it again. But game wise, early on when Alpha like just first released and people were playing it, like
Mm-hmm.
Border Militia was nowhere near meta. People were just like, "Oh, that's a throwaway card. That's just a throwaway common. It has no utility." And then it could have been maybe with I think it could have been with Beta and the release of Geomancer. I think Geomancer helped Mortals, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with that, Border Militia came up as a really potent card. There's some cool combos with it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you have an orb and then you Border Militia, then dang,
Yeah.
you got a bunch of stuff out there, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, again, the whole elf concept, I was like, I just
absolutely,
want to do that with mortals and just
yeah,
have like a
for
swarm
sure,
of foot soldiers just coming across the board.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, you kind of talked about it a little bit already, but I know you're a huge fan of collecting the original art pieces as well as just like appreciating the art. Uh, kind of with you being a huge fan of Truett, it kind of I saw a picture. I wasn't certain if you did, but did you buy the original the tosser, the giant?
Siege Giant, yeah. So I
Yeah.
was at the Courtesan Cup and I seen it there,
Uh huh.
and I liked it,
Mm-hmm.
and and I said, man, I would definitely love to own another Truett Parish piece. And he kind of looked at me. He was like, "All right." And then so we talked about it,
Nice.
and he's like, and I was like, you don't have to like pay to repackage it and ship it back on the
I'll
airplane.
just take
You
it.
can just leave it with me. I'll take care of it. So yeah, so I was able to purchase it. Super happy because
Nice.
it's another Truett Parish piece in my collection,
Right.
and it's an Arthurian Legends. So now I have
Mm-hmm.
Alpha art. I have Arthurian Legends art. So
So, which other ones do you have, if you're okay with talking about it? Which
sure.
other
So
Truets do you have, or even just all of whatever? What do you have acquired, if you
okay.
are allowed to talk about,
Yeah, no, I'm
to
not
talk
like.
about it?
There's some people that are secretive of their art. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. It's whatever to me.
Okay.
I so early on during the Kickstarter phase and shortly after, I acquired Border Militia, Highland Clansmen, Spin Attack. Those are the three Truett pieces.
Nice.
And then I mean, I really love Vanguard Knights.
Mm-hmm.
But when I approached Truett, he had already sold it.
Yeah.
So what I did was I actually commissioned Truett to repaint an alternative version of Vanguard Knights.
Oh, okay.
So I own kind of like an alt art version of Vanguard Knights.
Very
Y-
cool.
yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
you'll have to
then
take a. I have a friend that's like, if she's a huge like, she actually went to school for like history and like medieval history specifically.
cool.
So like that's like all her major is just college for college. It's just like medieval history and stuff. So
Hmm.
she's like a huge fan of like knights and stuff. So she's like super excited for Arthurian Legends.
Oh, me
Uh,
too.
and so when she's like, I put a Vanguard Knights in all my decks. Like it's
Yeah,
not like it does not come out. Like I play
yeah,
Earth because of Vanguard Knights,
yeah.
and so you'll have to if you're okay with it. I would love to show her the alternative if you want to
Oh,
take a picture
sure,
of it.
absolutely. Actually, if you are on the Sorcery Gaming Network Discord, where folks get together and help find local communities, the
Okay.
little icon to it is
Oh,
a
okay.
version of it, but I'll show you the full image of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm actually like, fantasy, trading cards. I
Mm-hmm.
love anything fantasy, but specifically, I'm obsessed with anything medieval and
Mm-hmm.
knights, and dragons. So,
Dragons. Okay.
so I love dragons and I love knights. And
Nice.
when I seen sorcery, obviously it has a bunch of that in it. So I was automatically into the game.
Mm-hmm.
But fun fact, during the Kickstarter, there was a live Q&A. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
like a YouTube video going on.
Okay.
And Simon and Eric were on it, and they were just kind of discussing, and they were reading some of the comments and all that on the live YouTube. And people were already starting to try to speculate what the next set would be.
Mm-hmm.
And on that live Discord, live YouTube video, I
Mm-hmm.
suggested, hey, we should do like an Arthurian's Legend set. And when I said it, you could see it, like
In their
if
faces, just like, oh no.
if Simon's eyes could kill, he would have killed me. Because
uh,
when I said it, you see it in Eric's face. He just automatically glowed. He was like, "Ooh, Arthurian's Legends. Yeah, that sounds interesting." I was like, oh, "I got it. I guessed it right."
yeah,
So,
nice.
so
Very
I
cool.
wanted like Arthurian's Legends to be a thing because I love anything King Arthur, knights, and dragons
Mm-hmm.
and all that. So,
Yeah, my actually, so my wife and me had a kid in December, and we were, the whole,
congratulations.
thank you, the whole discussion of like, what do we name this new human being
Okay.
and stuff, and we were like, okay, like, um, my wife's mom's maiden name is MacArthur, son of Arthur,
Okay.
and I've always been just a huge fantasy nerd and
Hmm.
like knights and round table and all that stuff. So we were like, what about Arthur? We just do
Yeah.
Arthur, and so his name's Arthur. And
Nice.
yeah,
Cool.
so
That's
it,
that. We're like soulmates, man. Like, cause I'm a geek like that too. I have 7 kids, so you have a little
mm,
catching up to do.
okay,
But one of my younger ones, when I was really still big into Magic the
mm-hmm.
Gathering, and one of my most favorite Magic the Gathering kind of newer set was War of
Mm-hmm.
Spark,
Okay,
and it's because when I played Magic, I was really into writing, but I was also into reading. And there was a time where Magic actually had books, and I would
okay,
read
gotcha.
all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they stopped producing and writing books for a while. And then when War of the Spark came out, they had another story which caught my attention.
Nice.
Um, and so and during War of the Spark, like Liliana was like the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife was pregnant. It was a girl, and we're
Okay.
deciding what to name it, and it just clicked. I was like, it's gotta be Liliana, right? Liliana's the best. So I have a Liliana because of Magic the Gathering,
Nice.
and then my second youngest, um, we were just looking for like cool fantasy inspired names.
Mm-hmm.
So we named her Luna, which is
Luna. Yeah.
moon in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
and her middle name is Mage, so she is literally Moon
She's the
Mage.
moon mage. Nice.
Yeah, so
Very cool. Yeah, we the joke in the family now is my parents and everyone. They're like, so if you have a son, are you gonna like do Merlin? So it's gonna be Arthur and Merlin.
okay, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I told I told Sierra, I was like, I don't. I hope it's not a ton of money, but
Mhm.
if there's an Arthur, whatever the rarest Arthur card is in Arthurian
Mhm.
Legends, I'm gonna have to pick it up because I have a son named Arthur now.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like,
Absolutely.
I can't skip on this.
Uh, that's cool, man.
But yeah, it's yeah, he's a ball of craziness, but it's been
Yeah,
a fun journey so far.
cool.
But yeah, so you have the Truant ones. Do you have any others, or did you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
buy
So we also I bought for my wife unicorn, autumn
the Autumn
unicorn.
Unicorn? Oh,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
So we bought the autumn unicorn. I have sold that one forward, but we
Mm-hmm.
got to enjoy it for a long time. And I also bought my wife Mother Nature.
Very
She
cool.
loves that painting. That will never be sold. That's going to stay with us
Is this
forever.
Severin or who is that?
Severin Pignon. Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we own those two. And also, it's kind of art. So Severin, and she explained to me, kind of the story behind and
Mm-hmm.
all that. But her and her, I guess, husband created these 8 necklaces, and
Mm.
the necklace is the Philosopher's Stone as a charm,
Ooh, cool.
and they were all like handmade, and they were signed in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought the last one, the 8 of 8.
Nice.
So I have a Philosopher's Stone necklace, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm too poor to probably ever own a piece of original art for this game, but it is a goal of mine if I ever get the opportunity to. I don't know what it would be. I don't
Hmm.
like necessarily have a wish list, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it would be really
Yeah.
cool to own an original piece of this
Yeah. I
game.
mean, going forward, I feel like it's going to be increasingly more expensive. I know when I first reached out to these artists,
Mm-hmm.
I thought certain amounts were expensive when they said it, and I was like, oh man, that seems like a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but when I bought it, and then after the game launched and with its success, the prices that I was buying art for,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't even get a curio for.
Dang.
So definitely it's becoming more expensive. I'm hoping that each set comes out, I can try for a new piece. Will I will give it a shot.
Nice.
But a lot of the artists are pretty approachable,
Nice.
and obviously you can find auctions that happen and all that. But even messaging some of the artists, you may not know what they have or don't have,
Mm-hmm.
and um, and some of them are still pretty reasonable, I think. So
Nice. Yeah, at this point I'm just hoping for like an AP, just like just to get one of the artist proofs of like one of my
mhm.
favorite cards would be kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah,
if we let's jump over to some of these like frequently asked questions that I have.
sure.
So since we're kind of already in it with the art and everything,
Mm.
what's your favorite artist if you can choose one? I'm assuming Truitt, or is it
Yeah,
something
I
else?
got. Yeah, I gotta say no. True is my boy.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he's like a good kid. Like I say that because I'm older than him, and um, but he has a great personality.
Nice.
I see him as like a diamond in the rough, where um, I I think I kind of get where Eric seen that spark in him. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he's definitely a young artist, still developing his trade, still very good already,
Yeah.
but you could just see the potential. And I'm hoping that now, he's kind of been discovered with the game, and Eric gave him, let's say, a shot, and
Mm-hmm.
um, had the pieces for Alpha, and now he has pieces for Beta, or I'm sorry, for Ethereum Legends. And I just feel like he's gonna keep stepping up his game, and we're just gonna see more and more and better out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, I love his style because he has the knights and he has the dragons, and that's what really spoke to me in terms
Yeah.
of the theme. what was being illustrated.
Right.
But I have, like I also love Servant, like
Yeah.
just like my wife does.
Uh-huh.
She is a go. Like her stuff is great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, we know she has the Philosopher's Stone, which is probably like the Black Lotus of Sorcery and all
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But even all her other pieces are just magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to have a favorite
Right. Yeah.
because I feel like all the art's so good, and what I'm learning is as being part of the community, the more I kind of engage with different artists and get
Mm-hmm.
to know them and engage back, like the more I'm like, man, this person's so cool. Like for instance, I got to meet Mateus in the Corzin Cup, and man, that's my boy right now. Like he is so cool. Like his personality, Mateus is someone that you want to sit down, eat chicken wings and have some beers with. Man. He is
Nice.
such a great soul. He's such a good person.
Very cool.
And then so when I got to really like I've seen obviously his art pieces before, but when I
Mm-hmm.
got to engage with him and know him more at a personal level, and then
Mm-hmm.
I re-look at that art, I'm like, dang, that's so good. Like I don't know, like why I kind of like kept going past this piece, and now you get to go back and like, yeah, I'm really now appreciating it more.
Right.
Um, so
Very cool.
mhm,
Yeah. The art change like my favorite artist changes like every day. Like
mhm,
whatever I'm looking at, I'm
mhm.
like it could be Boss Troll today, but like tomorrow it could be it could be werewolf. Like it
Right,
could just be whatever.
yeah,
Like every time I look at Crusade, I'm like, yeah, that's true. It.
yeah. No, for sure. No, and it was weird because like a while back I was trying to put together a video of like my top favorite art pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously truest pieces were there, so was Severance. Um, but even though I detest the Grim Reaper as a card,
Mm-hmm.
that piece of art just speaks to me,
That's
and
very cool.
any yeah, just like I love like silhouette type paintings.
Mm-hmm.
So like I love the assorted animals piece.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Grim Reaper piece, and there's a few more
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so like if I had like a top three favorite art pieces right now, it'd probably be Vanguard Knights, Spin Attack, and Grim Reaper.
Nice.
And I say that as a lover of the Grey Wolves, and I love the Grey Wolves. I love the Grey Wolves mechanics and the Grey Wolves. Actually, Grey Wolves are my favorite animal, right?
Okay.
So,
Cool.
so it's my favorite animal, and it's another reason why I really like the card. But in terms of like art, if I really had to cut it down to like the top three, would be those. I think Grey
Nice.
Wolves would be like number four, just because I do have a liking for wolves. So,
Yeah. Uh, if I had to do the three right now, Boss Troll's definitely up there. And when I realized that there's a little like person in the for like that's behind the text box, that was really
yeah,
cool to realize like how big he is, which is
yeah,
really
yeah, for
cool.
sure.
I love the glowing of his eyes. It's
Yeah.
really cool. And then the I like Border Militia a lot.
Mhm.
I'm jealous that you got to see the original and own the original.
Yeah, it was Border Militia was cool in that it wasn't like a huge painting,
uh-huh.
but there was like so much going on.
Yeah,
It's almost like Where's Waldo? So like you gotta
yeah,
like
yeah.
really scan the whole painting looking for like each
Mm-hmm.
character. And what I love, like it's something also that I've grown to love about Truitt, where he's detailed enough,
Mm-hmm.
but he's blurry enough that it leaves some to the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that I like,
Mm-hmm.
and what I like also about his paintings is most of them are like mid action pose. So it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like when I kind of critique art, it's a thing that I
Right.
learned in college or whatever. It's just like movement, like
Mm-hmm.
spin attack, the rushing in of Highland Clansmen,
Mm-hmm.
even like the movement of the horses and the knights and Vanguard Knights and all that. It's just like mid action pose, and to me, it like tells the story.
Yeah.
Same thing with Border Militia, like all of the characters are moving around, they're assembling, or
Mm-hmm.
something's about to go down, so to
Yeah.
speak. So yeah, it's a cool piece.
Yeah, and I think the third would probably be Pillar Zeros. I love that site. I
Yeah,
love looking at that site,
that's a solid site.
and then when they made the playmat, I was like, I gotta get this playmat, and it's
Yeah,
the playmat I play on every Thursday.
yeah,
So yeah,
that's cool.
it's I love just like rolling it out and just looking at all the detail. Like Dan Seagrave did a fantastic job with that one.
Absolutely.
What are your top three cards gameplay wise? I'm assuming
Mhm.
Grey Wolves is in here.
Yeah, I like obviously I would say that's probably my number one
hmm
mechanic wise favorite card. Oh, um gameplay.
hmm
Um I doubt we'll see a card reinterpreted like the sorcerer. I know that's your favorite avatar, but being able, I mean, in any TCG, card advantage is king,
Yeah,
right?
it's so good.
And I think it's like the fact that made him like the image of the whole
hmm
game, so to speak, the mascot, if you will,
hmm
is very fitting. But I think that extra draw a turn, it's just my favorite avatar. I think. Um, so I would say Grey Wolves, um, Sorcerer. Man, there's so many good ones. That's a hard one. Um, I like Shield Maidens.
hmm
I like Shield Maidens as a card. Like I do like the art. Um, I like that they remind me of Captain America. You know, like they're just
hmm
there to kind of back you up, so to speak. And
Right.
I think that I think the -1 damage could be stronger than the +1 power boost
hmm
because of things like lethal and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Yeah. I. Yeah. There's too many good cards in this game. Yeah. Sorcerer is by far my favorite. I actually told my wife she's a little bit of an artist. Or she's an artist. She doesn't do enough in my opinion.
mm,
But I told her, I was like, I know we're going down to Vegas for kind of my birthday because it's, yeah, I'm born in this, my birthday's December 9th, but I was like, can I please go down to Vegas for Sorcery Con? Basically, I was like, I
I
don't want
hear
anything
you.
for my birthday. This is my birthday present to
Yeah,
myself, kind
yeah,
of thing. And she was like, yeah, sure. And like we have some family up in St. George, so we're gonna actually just drive down. She's gonna hang out with grandma, and then
cool,
I'm gonna just drive an hour every day to go to the con. But
nice.
it's yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sorcerer, and I've gotten like some guys to do some APs for me. Told my wife, I was like, I want an AP from you. I have a friend
Mm,
in high school. He actually did the this right here behind me.
cool,
He did that for a birthday present one year. He drew the whole thing as like a comic book cover for me because I'm a huge Star
nice.
Wars fan. So he did that for me, and I told him, I was like, hey, could you do? I was like, I know you've never drawn on a card, but could you draw this? Just your own version of a sorcerer on a card. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then my wife said, if I have to do one for you, you have to get back into drawing yourself. So I started
Oh,
drawing again.
nice. Look at that.
Yeah, so it's not too
Wicked.
bad, but yeah,
Cool, cool.
yeah, so he's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I have to do a sorcerer now for myself. It'll probably be the one that never sees the light today, but
Yeah. That's funny. I mean, I think uh, I've never like I loved art before
mhm,
sorcery,
mhm,
and my oldest daughter, she's 15 and she's an artist. She's been drawing since she's can hold a pencil,
mhm.
and she's 15 and she draws better than lots of adults I know. She's just a
Nice,
phenomenal talent.
very cool.
So we've always encouraged her,
Mhm,
and just going to local kind of like art and craft show.
mhm,
Me and my wife as a family, we've kind of supported local artists. So we have a joy for art even before the
mhm,
game. But as a Magic player, like I would enjoy the art, but
mhm.
never was motivated to kind of get any of that art, so to speak,
Right.
like I did now
Mhm.
with sorcery. But like even when I played Magic, I wasn't into card alters at all. But now that I'm into sorcery, I'm like all about it. and I've gotten some pieces from Centerpoint uh, and from other artists as well. And I have some open commissions. Right now, I have a goal of creating an entire wolf deck, but with nothing but altars. And right now, I've gotten more than half of them either
Okay,
created or in commission. So on that
nice.
path. But Centerpoint, Steve, he made an altar of the sorcerer for me.
Very cool.
It's got like my logo on the colors
Oh
and all.
yeah, I think I saw it on one of the yeah. It was you in the hood, and then you had like the two float behind you or
Yeah,
something.
for
Yeah,
sure. So actually, I've slotted in my current wolf deck, and as I fill it out, I'm gonna be able to enjoy that. So it's cool.
nice. I think I posted in a couple places the guy I got my sorcerer from recently, but yeah, that guy is really cool. I think you should see if he would do a Grey Wolves for you if you haven't talked to him.
Mm.
I think, yeah. I forgot his name. I think he's Italian,
I
so
think
it's a
was it Atlas? Or are we talking about one
no, no,
on
no. It's a
Collector?
no. Yeah, it's a. Let's see here. I put it in Collector's Art House. I think in the altar channel. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Sometimes going through Collector's Art House's Discord is like going through
Oh,
a
there's a lot of
needle in a
activity. I
haystack.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Where the heck is the altar channel? There it is. Yeah, let me save this real quick. Yeah, I'll post it in our chat here. Yeah, sorry everyone, I'll cut this out later. There it is. Yeah, but this is the sorcerer I got commissioned by this guy. I just met him on Instagram. It was like a recommended on Instagram page to me,
Hmm.
and it was like a guy that just draws sorcery cards. I was like, oh, cool. This guy's really cool. I like his stuff, and it's yeah, I've been a huge fan of his stuff, so I got him to do a sorcerer for me.
Ooh, that is sweet,
Yeah,
man.
so
So that's hand painted.
yeah, it's hand drawn, hand painted. Yeah, he did the whole thing
Wow,
for me.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, it was not that bad of a price too. So yeah, you
Okay.
should talk to
I
him and see
think
if you get a wolf done.
for sure. I think so. When it comes to altars, like I'm gonna make a full wolf deck,
Mm-hmm.
whether someone likes it or not, and play with it. But I think for like the viability of playing with card altars, for sure. Like I think all the avatars will be an easy altar, and I
Mm-hmm.
can see there'll be a point in the future, a year or two from now, where everyone's gonna have an altered avatar.
Yeah.
No one's gonna have the stock image anymore. Um, and it's a way to express your personality, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a cool way of expression for sure.
Yeah, I agree. So, with you being an artist, not a fan of art and all that stuff, do you? I kind of ask this to people that are kind of more into the art than the gameplay or whatever. Is how do you feel about cards getting signed?
Hmm. I personally like signed cards, um, and it's because I mean, why not? Like I have let's say the original, like
Mm-hmm.
say I have a original Grey Wolf, um, and then I have a foil Grey Wolf, great,
Mm-hmm.
and then I actually have a sample Grey Wolf, which is really cool, and
Nice.
then I have a Krent version, which is really cool. But like I needed that signed Grey Wolf.
Uh-huh.
It's just like that personal touch from the artist. I feel so.
Right. Yeah, that's how I feel. I think some people might think I'm crazy for having this goal,
Mm-hmm.
but I have a very specific deck that I haven't really changed in a while, and I've enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
playing. And I think if I could, as a goal, just keep on adding to it as the deck evolves over
Mm-hmm.
time. But I want to have a full signed deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like every card
Yeah.
signed by the artist would be
That's a
like,
cool goal, and
yeah,
I just so happen to have probably over 100 signed cards already, but I
dang, dude.
don't have a steep curio, so we might do a little bartering after this. Yeah.
Nice.
No, I
Yeah.
definitely like signed cards. I think some like again, that's a good personal touch from that artist.
Yeah, like when all those guys were going to uh, the Corzine Cup, I was messaging a couple of guys that I knew were going, and I was like, please, can you give me some cards signed? Like, I
Yeah.
really want to. Obviously, I would rather do it in person and
Hmm.
like get them signed that way. But going back to your foil color out of space, I did not pick up a dust one because I have my alpha non foil signed by Brian Smith.
Oh
And so I
yeah.
was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but like I was like, that looks. I was like, I like the Brian Smith one, and the other one's fantastic, for
Yeah.
sure. But I was like, nah, I already got one signed,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna keep that one as my continue to play one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a huge fan of or a huge proponent of signed cards. I think it's
Yeah.
a great thing, and it kind of comes back to my situation currently. Hopefully it changes, but I just don't have a lot of like extra cash flow right now with the, having a new kid and things.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So it was one of those things where I was like, you know what, I could, I'm not gonna be able to like buy an AP, but
Hmm.
I could get someone to sign a card. So
Yeah.
it was like kind of the thing that I was like, okay, I get my own personal artist touch on my
Hmm.
cards by doing that. So like yeah, I have like Brian Smith's
Nice.
signature on the Angel's
Yeah.
eggs. But yeah,
I like Brian Smith. I've grown to like his pieces more. When it first came out, though, like I would like go scroll through all the cards, and when I get to a Brian Smith card, I would just fast track it because it would creep me out. But yeah, it's funny. Like I've always been really bad at like scary movies. You
mm-hmm.
know, the jump scare factors. I'm
Mm.
so gullible because when I'm watching like a movie, I'm like so into it. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
tunnel vision, and I never get like the little cues. Like my wife laughs
Yeah.
at me. She's like, they were playing the scary spooky like sound
Right. Yeah.
10 seconds before it jumped out of you. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So like like I always get the jump scare effect out of Ryan Smith.
Nice.
So I would always be like, yeah, no, no. But yeah, his oil technique is phenomenal. The
Mm-hmm.
way he really blends his oils to me is just like fantastic, man.
Yeah. He was the first one I approached and was like, "Hey, could I get some cards signed from you?" And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely. Just send them down to where I live, and I'll get them signed for you." I was like,
Yeah,
"Cool."
cool.
So it was really fun to get that done, and yeah, I've been trying to talk to some more artists and try to get that goal done, but
Mhm.
it's gonna be a long journey
Yeah,
for sure. But
a lot of them are very approachable. There's a couple that are just not they're not approachable. They're just very busy, as you can
mm-hmm.
imagine.
Right.
So there'll be a couple that'll be a little hard, and then there's some of the artists that have a little bit of language barriers, and some of
Mm-hmm.
them are like, I heard one of them is like in this remote mountain in Italy or something that you can't even get a hold of. But
Yeah, Andre
but
Musetti, I think, is maybe him, but I don't know.
yeah, we have to take a little trip to Europe and go backpacking to find them, I suppose.
Yeah. Um, Going back to some of the questions, do you have, if you had to choose a favorite element currently, what's your favorite
Mhm.
element of in the game?
Yeah, at Earth. Come on, we're
Earth.
mono green. That's like the
Yeah,
closest you can
there you
get
go.
to mono
Uh huh.
green is Earth element.
Yeah, I'm actually, I'm working on it currently. So I just bought a screen printer. So I'm in the process of learning how to screen print on T-shirts and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I have these designs for like team shirts. So it's
Okay.
Team Earth, Team Fire, Team Air,
Yeah.
Team Water, and like there's like a phrase at the bottom, and then like the symbol, and then like around it is like the most classic cards in
Hmm.
like that I guess I came up with for each element, and then
Okay.
above is like Team Air, Team Water, and then the front will have like the symbol. But I
Okay.
was like, it'd be kind of funny if all like I get enough people to buy them that like maybe when Vegas shows up, it's like you have all these different people wearing shirts with different
For
teams.
sure.
It'd be kind
I'd
of
definitely
funny.
be Team
Like
Earth.
start rivals like
Yeah.
rivalries happening. I can't believe you're Team Air.
That's fine.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. Uh, with Arthurian Legends, actually really close at this point. Like it's
Hmm.
I think I don't think they officially said, but I've been hearing in the grapevine like October 4th and
October.
5th.
Yeah, like
Yeah, so.
October 3rd is like the first peek at it or first ability to get it
Hmm.
in Europe, and then October 4th that weekend that's official
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah, so like it's really close. I looked at the calendar. I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like
Yeah,
this
it's
is
way
really
there.
close now."
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like basically 2 months
Hmm.
ish at this point. So with it being really close, kind of what are your like hopes for the set?
Hmm.
I know you're probably looking for some wolf cards, but like kind of
Yeah.
overall, like what are you hoping they do? Kind of
Hmm.
some of the cards you're maybe hoping for, or something like that.
Well, my that's a really big question because there's
Mm-hmm.
so much that I'm personally looking for. And here's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously looking for tech cards, things that could help a wolf deck out,
Mm-hmm.
or even a different deck that I might be interested in playing. So definitely looking for utility cards. I am a collector as well as a
Mm-hmm.
player, so I have my full non-foil alpha and beta. I have a few curios, so
Nice.
you always get excited to find a chase card, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for chases.
Right.
I'm looking to complete the set. I'm looking for techs, but I'm also looking for another wow factor, and I'm hoping we get another wow factor out of foiling.
Hmm.
So I collect a bunch of different TCGs,
Mm-hmm.
from Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and a lot of indies as well.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my more favorite foiling characteristics, I'm a big collector of Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Uh, Big fan of the anime as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I love their gold foiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm such a fan of their gold foiling. In fact, so when I think it was the Sir Tristan
Mm-hmm.
painting, and I seen the gilded
Mm-hmm.
art around it, I was like, man, if they make that
That
gilded out of
foil.
gold leaf, I'm set, bro. Like that's what I would be chasing. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that there possibly might be some kind of like a gold leaf effect in the foiling
I
in
think
this.
someone said that they're gonna do some kind of gold foil in an
Yeah,
interview, but I'm
I'd be
not
all
certain
over
about
that for
that.
sure.
Yeah. I think it was like Collector Art House said something
Yeah.
about someone
That makes sense
going
because
for it.
it is already a current thing in other games, like having
Mm-hmm.
the um, that monochrome, whether it's silver or gold effect.
So
It's a thing.
yeah, did you ever look into Flesh and Blood?
No, I didn't collect Flesh and Blood. It's one
Okay.
of the few that I haven't
Yeah,
tried.
so they have like this like foiling method. It's called cold foiling,
Yeah,
and
I
yeah, it's
know
like
it.
a
Yeah, I
yeah, it's like a silver foiling around like
right.
certain parts of it and stuff.
Yeah. So when I said I'm not like so much into Flesh and Blood, I own cards of Flesh and
Yeah,
Blood. My brother actually uh, picked up Flesh and Blood very early on
nice.
and gave me a bunch of 2018 samples and promotional
Mm-hmm.
cards and some sealed decks I have and some cold folds, and
Mm-hmm.
so I have some product, but I just never really learned the game play, so to speak.
Gotcha. Yeah, actually I came from Flesh and Blood and
Oh yeah,
then played Sorcery. Yeah, like
okay.
our local group kind of got interesting. I'll leave it at that.
Ah, okay.
And there were a couple of guys that did not like me, and I did not like them. So some other guys that I um, played that game with were like, "Hey, we're trying out the sorcery game. You should you should come over and try it out." I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll try it." And then I sold all my Flesh and Blood stuff and moved over to sorcery.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
like, so I bought all the beta cards, and I think yeah, right there is my beta box. So
Hmm.
it has all of my a whole non-foil set. So I have the whole set.
Nice.
Besides, I guess the Eric's Curiosa is like the only official card I don't own,
Right.
don't have any version of. So yeah, the we'll do one funny question. What's your favorite tournament snack?
My favorite tournament snack. Uh, it's funny. The joke for the Crescent Cup was, my wife and my kids, we traveled from Florida to
Mm-hmm.
Maryland, and we made it a goal because the RV could handle the distance that we were stopping at all the Bucky's gas stations on the way. And when we stopped at a Bucky's gas station, I would go on Discord like, "Hey, anybody want any like memorabilia or snacks or whatever?" And like people wanted
Nice.
like the jerky, so like I bought like 20 pounds of jerky, and just when I got to the Coruscant Cup, just gave out big rolls of jerky to everybody. I love jerky.
Nice.
I would probably say it'd be jerky. Yeah, big
Nice.
fan. I make it and
Cool.
eat it when I can and all that.
Very cool. Yeah, we there's a decent amount of jerky making up here in Montana. A lot of
I
meat
bet there
lovers,
is.
so
It's good hunting over there,
yeah,
huh? Yeah.
yeah, lots of hunting. So yeah, lots of fresh meat all the time, which is really nice. The um, what is your favorite Magic Minion artifact site, aura, and avatar? So
Okay.
each one of each of the
Okay.
different types.
Let's see. Favorite avatar is a sorcerer.
Yep. Nice.
Um, Favorite site is Dome of Osiris.
Nice.
Favorite minion is Grey Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite aura is Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite artifact, probably Flaming Sword.
Okay.
Um, Favorite magic spell. I don't play too many too often, but I do like when I could pull off a good earthquake. I'd probably say
Nice.
earthquake. Yeah,
Nice. Very cool. Is there so yeah? Thank you again for coming on and doing this. It was a ton of fun. I hope you had fun
absolutely.
as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are you going to Vegas?
I'm on the fence. If it were up to 100% up to me, I'd be in Vegas right now.
Fair enough.
My wife, of all of the cities, my wife's kind of anti Vegas, the city itself.
Okay.
And happy wife, happy life.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows that I love the game, and she's a
Mm-hmm.
supporter of me. So we're a little bit on the fence.
Okay.
It would have to be, because we have so many kids as well. It
Mm-hmm.
would have to be where we find a good balance of playing at the event and creating a trip that is family oriented enough that would make a good family vacation. So we'll see.
You got some national parks around there too, so you could
If we
maybe stay
if
over
if
there.
we find some national parks, maybe a spot to set up a RV trip, I think I can swing it. So
Nice. Yeah, I'll be there, so I hope you're there so I can meet you in
okay, cool,
person. But if
absolutely.
that's any kind of incentive.
All right, yeah. I mean, well, you and there's so many cool people in this community. Like
Kevmo's going. Rudosaurus
Kev,
is on the fence. Is on the fence right
Kevmo,
now, but
Kevmo is an awesome heart. I love
yeah, I
Kevmo.
love
Great
Kevmo.
guy.
Kevmo's great.
Rudosaurus is my boy. So the fact
Yeah,
that he's going makes me really want to go that much more.
yeah. I
Um,
think he's still on the fence, but he's like 90% there. I think it's just like work schedule, making sure his work schedule is
Uh,
good to go.
okay. I mean, he's hit up so many events. Like the
Oh
guy's
yeah,
probably the most traveled sorcery player right now.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just being able to meet up with the guys, so to speak, is incentive enough. And then Mike said that Truett's going too. When I seen that, I was like, man, I have to go now for sure. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence on it, but I'm more leading to probably gonna make it happen.
Very
But
cool.
not
Yeah,
making an official announcement just yet.
fair enough. Yeah, I've been talking to Rudosaurus and Kevmo, and I was like, dude, we gotta do something. Like, we gotta do like a draft or whatever, and just have all like, so like we can just like have everyone that we want to meet just show up.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone just meet here, and we're gonna do a draft together or
Yeah.
something with like Arthurian legends or whatever, and just have fun with it.
I'm already putting together a game plan for another tournament in Florida for no other reason to just have a reason to have the guys swing by and play. I mean,
Nice. Yeah.
so we're working on it. I have the venue picked out. I just don't have the
Very cool.
date secured just yet.
Nice.
But once I have that put together, I'll post it on Discord.
Cool.
It'll be probably early next year. So
Nice. Yeah, I have very tentative plans right now, but it was one of those things where it's like if I can't afford to go places, I will just make them come to me.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to some people locally and talking to some venue guys and other things, and potentially there'll be a tournament up in Montana, and
Yeah.
whoever wants to show up can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd go to hunt and play sorcery. So
there you go. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, thank you again for coming on. It was a ton of
So
fun, and yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime.
all right, man.
All right, take care.
Appreciate you having me on.
All right, bye.